Hello and welcome to a new semester. This is going to be something that I'm going to put up on D2L. It's going to be a series of recordings. I'm hoping to do about one per week. Um, and the idea of these recordings, the idea of this kind of series is going to be me talking about learning. So it's a way for way for me to talk about learning. So think of this like, okay, you go in for an office hour visit and the professor gets off on a tangent and starts just talking to you. Only this time you can pause me and come back when you're ready, as opposed to having to sit there and listen to me. But what I really want to talk about when I say talking about learning, what I really want to talk about is I want to talk about what are things that work well for students, right? How have successful students found success in courses in the past and hopefully as we go forward into the future. I want to give you an idea of what are some specific things that you can do to be more successful in this course. And not only this course, but you can also take this forward and be successful in other courses using kind of these ideas and that kind of stuff. So think of it as almost like cheat codes for college courses and cheat codes for science courses and that kind of stuff. This is not something that's going to be essential for your grade. I'm not going to give you any assignments in here. I'm viewing this more as a resource that we can point to and come back to and do those kinds of things. Some of the things that we might address are things like study habits, test anxiety, procrastination, those kinds of things. We're going to talk about all those things, or I'm going to talk about all those things in this series, and I want to have this as kind of a resource that I can point to and say, oh, I just talked about whatever test anxiety in week 2 or whatever it was. And so go back there, listen to that, and let's think about those ideas. um, so that's the idea of what this is going to be. I'm going to talk about a variety of things. The first thing that I want to talk about is, since we're here at the beginning of the semester, what are some things that we can do before classes even begin that will allow us to kind of set ourselves up for success? So what is the first step? So in 2010, some researchers at McGill University in Montreal, they split a group of students into two smaller groups. And each group had an assignment. Group one, they were going to write about a past positive experience, a previous positive experience. And group two was going to describe their ideal semester going forward and kind of setting goals for that upcoming semester. And after the semester, the researchers looked at the students and they looked at what they had done. And the students in the goal setting group, that second group that considered their future and set goals for their future, they were more successful academically, and they also reported fewer negative emotions during the semester. And so I think that that kind of says something about the power of goal setting. At the beginning of all of our semesters, and I know this was true for me as a college student, at the beginning of the semester, I think students generally are much more motivated and much more optimistic. You come in fresh, you're ready to tackle challenges and all that kind of stuff. And then also at the beginning of the semester, there just aren't a lot of significant assignments right off the bat. And so you get into these courses, and at the point where you have the most energy and the most enthusiasm, there's little for you to do. As a professor, what I'd love to be able to do is to harness that positive emotion and positive energy the students have at the beginning of the semester, right? And project that forward, right, into the more challenging parts of the semester. Because there will be challenging parts. There will be weeks where you have multiple exams across multiple classes and all that kind of stuff, and where you'll feel negative emotion, right? You'll feel stressed and you'll feel anxious and all that kind of stuff. And so one of the ways that we can do that, we can take this positive energy now and project it forward, is to set goals, right? And so before class begins, in that first week of classes, when you don't have a homework assignment, you don't have any quizzes or anything, set goals for your semester. The other thing that these researchers in McGill found is that the more words that students used, so just a straight word count, the more words that they used to describe their ideal semester, uh, the more success they had in academic success they had in the upcoming semester. And so when you sit down to write out goals and such for your semester, be specific, be clear. So saying something like, I want to pass this class is not a specific or clear goal, really, right? Like, and also it's not very many words. So if you're looking to really harness the optimism that you have right now, be specific, be clear, and be wordy, right? Use a lot of words to describe what you want to happen over the course of the semester. One of the other good tricks that you can do with goals and a way to kind of keep that intention of that goal going throughout the rest of the semester is to use if-then statements, right? So what happens if you come up against an obstacle, right? Be very intentional about what am I going to do if I've been working on a problem for more than 5 minutes and I don't have the answer. Then I'm going to save that problem and work on it with my study group. If I have a question in class and I'm still confused after class, then I'm going to whatever, come to office hours and get the answer straight from the professor, right? But if you write down that if-then statement, right, that gives you a chance to kind of internalize that idea. You already have a plan. So when you get to that problem in the homework and you're like, I have been working on this forever and I don't know what to do, you already have a plan. You have a then statement that can tell you what to do. So use that if-then formulation to kind of set your goals and also to help you achieve whatever that goal might be. And we can do this in a very broad sense at the beginning of the semester and talk about the whole course, or we can be a little bit more specific and do small bits throughout the semester. But I think given where we are right now, where it's before the semester begins, it makes a lot of sense to kind of look broadly, create some goals, specific clear goals, and some if-then statements that will allow us to kind of set ourselves up to do the things that we want to do when we run into challenges. So that's my idea for the first one of these. I've lost my notes. There they are. And so that's my kind of take-home message is before classes even start, you can be doing things to set yourself up for success. And one of those things is set clear goals. Use if-then statements to kind of create behavior that you want yourself to aspire to as the course goes on, right? And things will always come up and things may or may not work. But if we have the goal, if we have the expectation that we're going to follow through on these things, it creates a much easier path for you to do those and to find ways towards success in these classes. I hope that was interesting. I hope that was useful. If you have questions about anything that I ever put in any of these recordings, please email me. Please come to office hours and talk about them. Like I said, I love to talk about this stuff. Um, I'm not sure what the next one of these is going to be. Oh, I was going to talk about testing. So how do we view tests and what do we look at when what kind of information should we take away from an exam and those kinds of things. So that'll be the next one. Hopefully that goes up in about a week. And until then, I will see you in class.